South Central, 1992, wasn't just another crime drama. It was a raw, unflinching look at life in the streets and the struggle to break free from its grip. With powerful performances and a story that still resonates today, the film left a lasting impact. But what happened to the actors who brought these characters to life? Today, we're revisiting the cast of South Central, from the unforgettable OG Bobby Johnson to the menacing Buddha, and even the actor whose real-life story took a shocking turn, landing him on death row. Let's dive in. Glenn Plumber as Bobby. Glenn Plumber was born on August 18, 1961, in Richmond, California, and at just 31, he played Bobby Johnson, a man torn between loyalty to his gang and his love for his son. Bobby starts as a committed member of the Hoover Deuce gang, seeking respect and power. But after a reckless act lands him in prison, he's forced to confront the reality of his choices. Behind bars, he meets an older inmate who teaches him discipline and self-respect, setting him on a path of redemption.
All I want is to give him something that you...
The OG call. I'm keeping him.
With your daddy?
No.
By the time he's released, Bobby is no longer the man he was. His only goal is to save his son, Jimmy, from following in his footsteps. Plummer's raw, heartfelt performance made Bobby's transformation unforgettable. Though South Central remains one of his most powerful roles, he built a solid career with films like Speed, 1994, and Menace to Society, 1993.
Odin is my son. It was my fault he got shot.
In that situation, I think sometimes
you gonna get the gun out of my hand, like that type.
Right.
Now 63, he continues to work in Hollywood, never quite reaching mainstream stardom but always leaving an impact. Off-screen, his life took a surprising turn when he married actress Sally Richardson, though the marriage ended in divorce. Still, to many, he will always be remembered as Bobby, the father who fought to rewrite his family's story. Kevin Best as Genie Lamp. Kevin Best was born on February 26, 1959 in New York, USA, and at 34 years old, he took on the role of Genie Lamp, a flashy and ruthless crime boss who ruled Kansas City's underworld with an iron grip. Genie wasn't just a criminal. He was a man who thrived on intimidation, running his empire as a pimp, club owner, and drug dealer. When Bobby Johnson is released from prison, Genie makes sure his return is anything but smooth.
Are you scared?
I ain't scared of you.
Bobby, smack. You like it?
Bobby, I swear to God, I never touched your woman, man. I don't deserve this. Bobby,
Humiliating him at every turn and reminding him that true freedom is an illusion. But even the most powerful men have their limits. The tension between Genie and the Deuce Gang builds until Bobby is forced to take a life, marking a turning point in his journey. Best delivered a menacing performance, making Genie Lamp a character audiences loved to hate. Before South Central, he appeared in Teen Witch, 1989, and the TV crime drama Hunter, but despite his screen presence, Hollywood never fully embraced him. Now 66, he lives a quiet life away from the industry. But for fans of the film, he will always be the ruthless kingpin who pushed Bobby to the edge. His personal life also had its twists. His brief but unexpected marriage to a fellow actress caught fans off guard, though it ended as quickly as it began. LaRita Shelby as Carol. LaRita Shelby was born on March 1, 1966, in Nashville, Tennessee, and at just 26 years old, she played Carol, Bobby's girlfriend and Jimmy's mother, a woman whose dreams were slowly crushed by the weight of her reality. At first, she had hope, believing she and Bobby could build a life together. But when he was sent to prison, she was left to fend for herself, and the struggle broke her. Over time, addiction took hold, leaving her unable to care for Jimmy.
Thank you for this magnanimous event, and thank you,
Cody. And you old school fans might know me as OG Bobby.
Jazzy Rita, and I am your red carpet commentator tonight.
Carol wasn't a villain. She was a tragic figure, caught in a cycle she couldn't escape. Shelby brought heartbreaking vulnerability to the role, making Carol's struggle feel painfully real. While South Central remains her most recognized film, she continued acting in No Way Back, 1995, and Black Sheep, 1996. Now 59, she's still involved in entertainment, but for many she will always be Carol, the woman who wanted to hold on but couldn't find a way out. Her personal life also had its surprises. She once shocked fans with a whirlwind marriage to a fellow actor, though it didn't last long. Byron Minns as Ray Ray. Byron Minns, born in 1962, was 30 when he played Ray Ray, the quiet but ruthless leader of the Hoover Deuce Gang. Unlike Bobby, Ray Ray never questioned the life he chose. He was calculated, in control, and always thinking 10 steps ahead. While Bobby was in prison, Ray Ray kept the gang together, and when Bobby was released, he saw his son, Jimmy, as the next recruit. To him, Jimmy was just another soldier in the making, but Bobby had different plans.
Like that, huh? Come here, let me talk to you. You down for that?
Yeah, Ray.
All right, in your pocket. Now you spread this around to your homies.
Their confrontation wasn't just about power. It was about a father standing up for his son's future. Minns played Ray Ray with chilling control, making him a villain who felt dangerously real. Though South Central remains one of his defining roles, he went on to co-write and co-star in Black Dynamite, 2009, proving his talents extended beyond acting. Now, 62, he remains active in the industry, but for many, he will always be Ray Ray, the man who underestimated the strength of a father's love. His personal life also had its surprises, including a brief but unexpected marriage that made headlines before quietly fading from the public eye. Lexi Bigam as Bear. Lexi Bigam, born in 1968 in Illinois, was 24 when he played Bear, the enforcer of the Hoover Deuce Gang and Ray Ray's most trusted soldier. Bear wasn't just muscle. He was a man who lived by the gang's code, never questioning orders, never showing doubt. He thrived on control, ensuring that the gang's power remained unchallenged. So when Bobby returned from prison a changed man, Bear saw it as a betrayal, an insult to everything they had built.
Needed to get got. We got this. My boy. And if they put us in jail?
To him, Jimmy wasn't a child in need of saving. He was the next soldier in line, and Bobby's interference threatened the natural order. The clash between them wasn't just personal. It was a battle between two men who once stood side by side but now fought for opposite futures. Bigam had a gift for bringing street-hardened characters to life, as seen in Boys and the Hood, 1991, and C7N, 1995. But in South Central, he will always be Bear, the man who never questioned his loyalty, even when it led him down a path with no way out. Off-screen, Bigam's life took an unexpected turn when he married a fellow actress in a secret Las Vegas ceremony, a whirlwind romance that shocked their closest friends. Yet, much like the world he often portrayed on screen, the marriage ended as quickly as it began. His career was tragically cut short when he passed away in 1995, but his performances still resonate, a reminder of the raw talent he brought to every role. Vincent Craig Dupri as Loco. Vincent Craig Dupri, born in 1955 in California, was 37 when he played Loco, a desperate man chasing loyalty in a world that offered none in return. Unlike the gang's stronger figures, Loco wasn't fearless or calculating. He was desperate, clinging to Ray Ray's leadership like it was his lifeline. He followed orders blindly, believing his loyalty would keep him safe, but the truth was brutal. In the streets, loyalty had limits. Loco's real battle wasn't just with the gang, it was addiction.
Go run me off like some old orphan dog. Hell, he even got the little...
Give me the drink.
He ain't no deuce.
He was always jittery, always searching for a fix, moving with the nervous energy of someone running from himself. But in prison, there was no escape. Withdrawal shattered him, breaking down the swagger he once had. By the time Bobby saw him behind bars, Loco was no longer the man he used to be. He was just a shell, a reminder of how unforgiving their world could be. Dupri delivered a haunting performance, capturing the raw vulnerability of a man unraveling. Horror fans might remember him from the Friday the 13th films, but for many, he will always be Loco, the lost soul who thought the gang had his back, only to realize too late that he was on his own. Despite his on-screen tough guy image, Dupri's personal life had a softer, unexpected twist. His whirlwind marriage to an actress known for romantic dramas took fans by surprise. Though the union was brief, it showed a different side of him, one rarely seen outside his hardened roles. Now 69, he remains a memorable presence in film history, a testament to the roles that defined him. Baldwin C. Sykes as Ken Dog. Baldwin C. Sykes, born in 1963 in California, was 29 when he took on the role of Ken Dog, the hustler always looking for his next big move. Unlike Ray and Bear, who held power through fear, Ken Dog played the game differently, through charm, connections, and schemes that kept him one step ahead. He was all about survival, making deals and chasing opportunities, but in the end, he was just as trapped as the rest.
We got to be the strongest. He has to prepare for and get a certain score to enter that college.
When Bobby, fresh out of prison, was trying to keep a low profile, it was Ken Dog who pulled him back in, convincing him that the danger had passed. But the streets have a way of closing in, and Bobby, Ken Dog, and Loco soon walked straight into a police sting, caught by an undercover officer posing as a prostitute. Sykes, already familiar to audiences from Boys in the Hood, 1991, brought an effortless authenticity to Ken Dog, making him feel like someone you could run into on any street corner. Now 61, he has continued working steadily in Hollywood, appearing in Not Easily Broken, 2009, and Famous, 2023, proving that his talent never faded. Off-screen, his love life was just as unpredictable as his film roles. A short-lived but passionate marriage to a rising soap opera star turned heads before ending quietly, a reminder that not all fast-paced decisions lead to lasting results. Still, for fans of South Central, he will always be Ken Dog, the hustler who thought he could outmaneuver fate, only to reel Carl Lumbley as Ali. Carl Lumbley, born in 1951 in Minnesota, was 41 when he played Ali, a man who had lost everything but still had wisdom to give. By the time Bobby met him in prison, Ali was already living his worst nightmare, a father who had failed to save his son from the same streets that had shaped them both. That pain had turned into rage, and in a moment of vengeance, he had taken justice into his own hands, sealing his fate with a life sentence. Now, all he had was time.
I had a boy, and I was on him. I was some daddy.
A man has to.
Yes.
Individual, but he paid a price for that bravery.
And the hope that someone else wouldn't repeat his mistakes. When he saw Bobby, he recognized the same anger, the same desperation, and he refused to let it go unchecked. He became a mentor, teaching Bobby self-discipline, self-respect, and most importantly, the strength to walk away. Lumbley's performance was more than just acting. It felt like a hard truth laid bare, a message that redemption was possible, but only if one was willing to fight for it. His career stretched far beyond South Central, with standout roles in MANTIS and Alias, proving his range and talent. Now 73, he continues to be a respected figure in the industry, his deep, commanding presence making every role unforgettable. Off-screen, his personal life had its own unexpected turns. His surprise marriage to a fellow actress, kept secret for years, finally came to light, shocking fans who had assumed he was a lifelong bachelor. Reginald T. Dorsey as Bastile. Reginald T. Dorsey, born in 1965 in Dallas, Texas. When he was 27, he stepped into the role of Bastile, the man who controlled the Hoover Deuce gang from behind bars. Bastile wasn't just another inmate. He was the strategist, the enforcer, the leader who understood that power meant never showing weakness. When Buddha, the ruthless Aryan nation leader, targeted Loco over a cigarette debt, Bastile didn't hesitate. Loco was already lost, a junkie with no strength, no value to the gang.
These peckerwoods gonna make it real expensive, Bobby. We owe you one, Buddha.
No, you owe us 15.
You know, I could bring a little something to it.
There you go.
Yeah, from blues came, country music.
To him, protecting Loco wasn't strategy, it was weakness. But Bobby saw things differently. He believed in loyalty, in brotherhood, and he stepped in to defend Loco, a move that Bastile saw as foolish. In prison, sentiment got you killed, and he made sure Bobby knew it. Dorsey's performance was raw, intense, and completely unforgettable. Before Hollywood, he was a standout athlete and scholar, proving his skills in both academics and sports before making his way into film. His roles in Return to Lonesome Dove, 1993, and Kings of the Evening, 2010, solidified his place in the industry. But off-screen, his life took an unexpected turn. His whirlwind marriage to an award-winning playwright shocked fans, especially when it ended just months later under mysterious circumstances. Now 59, he remains an industry veteran whose presence still commands attention. Starletta DuPois as Nurse Shelly. Starletta DuPois, born in 1941 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. When she was 51, she brought warmth and compassion to the role of Nurse Shelly, the one beacon of hope in South Central. She wasn't just a nurse, she was a lifeline, a woman who saw beyond the gang affiliations and the wounds they carried. When Jimmy was rushed into the hospital, barely clinging to life, she didn't just see another statistic. She saw a boy who had been failed by everyone around him. She didn't just heal his body, she fought to give him a future.
I miss you too, baby. May I ask your business?
I'm his mama, fool.
Even after he left the hospital, she reached out, trying to connect him with people who could help him find a better path. DuPois brought that same depth to every role, from The Color Purple, 1985, to The Wire, making her a mainstay in Hollywood. Now 83, she continues to prove that true talent never fades. But behind the scenes, her personal life had its own surprises. Her secret marriage to a jazz musician lasted less than a year, dissolving quietly without the public ever knowing the real reason. Even so, her career remains her legacy, a testament to the power of resilience. Ivory Ocean as Willie Manchester. Ivory Ocean, born in 1946 in Mississippi. When he was 46, he played Willie Manchester, an ordinary man who made a split-second decision that changed a young boy's life forever. One moment, he was enjoying a quiet evening. The next, his car alarm was blaring and a figure was breaking into his vehicle. Instinct took over. He grabbed his rifle, ran outside, and fired. The thief was already running, stereo in hand. He never saw that it was Jimmy, just a kid, not a hardened criminal.
I got that bastard. Call the cops.
The bullet didn't kill him, but it might as well have. Jimmy's life was forever altered, a stark reminder that in the streets, even the smallest choices have permanent consequences. As for Willie, was he just defending his property, or did he go too far? Ocean brought incredible weight to the role, making Willie feel like a man you might know, a man who acted before he thought. His filmography includes The Mask, 1994, and Soap Dish, 1991. But his role in South Central remains one of his most memorable. He passed away in 2011 at 65, leaving behind a career that spoke for itself. Yet, few knew that at the height of his success, he had married a Broadway star, a union so private that even close friends were stunned when the news broke years later. His legacy, however, was never about his personal life. It was about the stories he told on screen. Christian Coleman as Jimmy. Christian Maris Coleman, born in 1977 in California. When he was 14, he portrayed Jimmy, also known as J-Rock, a boy whose life was slipping through his fingers before he even had a chance to hold on. Born to an addict mother and a father behind bars, he had no real foundation, no real guidance. The Hoover Deuce gang became his family. It started with small-time hustles, stealing car stereos, surviving however he could. But the streets don't forgive mistakes.
J-Rock, Jimmy, man, what it was, cuz?
Get down, Ray.
So what set you claiming?
Claiming who? Show you right.
All right. Get some gappers to fill them gaps.
The night he snatched Willie Manchester's radio was the night everything changed. A gunshot, a searing pain in his back, the cold pavement beneath him. It didn't kill him, but it served as a brutal wake-up call. Bobby, his father, fresh out of prison, tried to save him, but the truth was, Jimmy had already been lost long before that moment. Coleman's performance was heartbreakingly real, a raw portrayal of a boy caught in a world that never gave him a chance. Now 47, his own life took a tragic turn. After a promising start, he is currently serving a 20-year sentence for a crime committed in 2016. It's a haunting reflection of his on-screen story, a reminder of how life sometimes imitates art in the cruelest ways. Off-screen, his love life was just as turbulent. His brief marriage to a fellow child star ended in scandal, a shocking twist that left fans wondering what really happened. But in the end, his portrayal of Jimmy remains unforgettable, a painful but necessary reminder of the cost of lost opportunities. Vickilyn Reynolds as Willie's wife. Vickilyn Reynolds, born on June 2, 1955, in Philadelphia. When she was 37, she played Willie's wife, a woman who never expected her quiet evening to turn into a nightmare. She had been settling in for the night, maybe thinking about tomorrow's plans or just enjoying a moment of peace, until the blaring car alarm shattered it all. Before she could even call out to her husband, Willie was already grabbing his rifle, his instincts taking over.
Tell her you wearing me. Well.
She barely had time to process what was happening before she found herself outside, watching in frozen horror as he took aim. And then, bang. The gunshot cut through the night and Jimmy hit the pavement. Her hands flew to her mouth, her breath caught somewhere between a scream and silence. Yes, the boy had been stealing. But was it worth this? As the flashing red and blue lights painted her world in chaos, she stood still, realizing there were no words that could change what had just happened. Vickilyn Reynolds brought quiet intensity to the role, her performance capturing the weight of a moment that could never be undone. Many remember her as Smokey's sharp-tongued mother in Friday, 1995, but before that, she shined in the sitcom Sugar and Spice, 1990. Now 69, Reynolds remains a respected name in black cinema, leaving behind that still resonate today. As Buddha. Tim DeZarn, born on July 11, 1950. When he was 40, he stepped into the role of Buddha, the ruthless leader of the Aryan nation and fueled by hate. He was a predator. Someone who saw fear as weakness and meant survival. He had no use for someone like Loco, a junkie without discipline. That Buddha tormented him, making sure he knew just how little he mattered.
With the deuce. This can't feed your butt whack.
or was my brothers indeed
willing to let it slide. He's even in a place where it could standing up to Budo. It was a declaration of racial tensions were already razor thin. It only added fuel to the fire. Budo was more than just another prison brute. He played the long game, exactly how to push people toward their own death. Tim DeZarn's performance was chilling, fit for an actor who made a career out of intimidating characters. Fight Club, 1999, and Ray, 1992, always bringing an screen. Now 72, in Los Angeles with his wife and daughter, though of heartbreak. In 2007, he struck when his 18-year-old son was killed in an auto accident. A changed him. Sal Landi as detective. 11th, 1951, in New York City. When he was 41, a man who didn't need to raise his voice to get inside someone's head. He wasn't the kind of cop. Let the weight of the truth do the talking. When he sat Bobby down, questioning him about Genie lamps answers. The fingerprints on the gun told their own story. But for Landi's another man behind bars.
I mean, the guy practically lived at the Ritz. I don't want your money. One day, riding a bike and he can't stand it.
He had a son out there. Grow up without a father. And that's where he pressed hardest. It wasn't about threats. Forcing Bobby to face the one thing, knowing his son like him. Sal Landi's measured performance brought a sharp contrast to the his role in South Central, but it left an impact, showcasing how sometimes the quietest voices carry the most weight. Landi would go on to appear in films like Independence Day, Resurgence, 2016, and Blonde, 2022, proving his versatility across decades. Now 73, he remains active in Hollywood, but for many, he'll always be remembered as the detective who put Bobby's entire future on the table and made him see what was truly at stake. And that's the power of South Central, a film that still hits just as hard today as it did back then. It's a reminder that cycles can be broken, that redemption is real, and that sometimes the hardest thing a man can do is change. What do you think? Let us know in the comment below, and don't forget to like and hit the button for more content. Goodbye.